let's talk about the United States here. And the vice presidential debate that took place, let's be honest, not going to change the election, but it does change a couple of things about where the election might be fought in the next few days, OK? Now, one question and one question only, to me, was the most important of the debate. Joe Biden, multiple times in interviews and debates, will not say whether they would change the system of the highest court in the land. Currently, there are 9 people who sit in the Supreme Court. It's about to have another Conservative appointed to it. And the tantrum that the left want to do is that rather than saying, no, there's only 9 players in the game, they'll just keep going until they get a majority of people that they want on lifetime appointments. It's called court packing. Biden won't talk about it because either he disappoints the left by saying, no, 9's enough, or he outrages the country by actually destroying the institution as opposed to Donald tweets too much. But when asked about it today by the Vice President, guess what happened with Kamala Harris? Nothing.
You speak about the Supreme Court, though. I think the American people really deserve an answer, Senator Harris. Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed?
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more. In 1864...
Well, I'd like you to answer the question.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Once again, gave a non-answer. Joe Biden gave a non-answer.
Trying to answer you now.
The American people deserve a straight answer. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the straight answer is they are going to pack the Supreme Court.
And do you know that of the 50 people who President Trump appointed to the Court of Appeals for lifetime appointments, not one is black?
9 places on the Supreme Court, yet not one is black in the federal courts. This was the rubbish that was being sent out. Well, surprise, surprise, this sort of scrutiny sent the media slightly crazy. Well, here's what happened on NBC.
He kept interrupting his moderator, a woman, and his opponent, a woman. Some may feel that showed lack of respect.
I knew it. Sexist. For asking her to answer a question. That's a disgusting thing to do. And did you know he was racist too?
I'll tell you this, and Abby, I want to get your thoughts on this. I was texting with a friend who is an African-American man saying, do you think that she's kind of letting some things go in a way that maybe she shouldn't? And the answer was, are you kidding me? You know that she's a black woman. She has to kind of pull her punches on that.
So because the debate at its heart has yet again created this issue where they will either piss off the left by not changing the system or piss off the actual country by changing the system, this is what the media decided to focus on. Apparently he had pink eye and that means he has COVID. And did you notice there was a fly that landed on his head? It's the only interesting thing that happened in the debate. Jedi mind trick, you never saw any of it. Bronwyn, I don't know how much of it you saw, but to me, front and centre, they've spent 4 years that Trump's destroyed the institutions and ruined the system. They want to change the system that ultimately decides the law as adjudicated. From 9, let's go like a kid who keeps losing a game. Let's play best of 11, 13, 15, 17.
Well, I enjoyed watching the debate, but I enjoyed more you're absolutely taking apart the wokey American commentator at the end.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Who really just couldn't answer you and was left...
Professor Flake, I think, was his actual name.
I think he was too. But I thought the debate was interesting. I thought that if both the contenders for the presidency fell over, I thought that Vice President Pence looked quite presidential.
Yeah.
All this nonsense about who interrupted who most and who had the most time.
She did.
Someone actually did the math. She had more minutes than he did.
Yeah.
But it just ignores me beyond belief. To hear women when they get into a situation where they think, oh, I'm not doing so well, I'll pull the sexist card. Look, the thing is that in the free world, in Australia and the United States, we have opportunities that most women in the world would never ever dream of. They are second-class citizens. They're owned by somebody. They're ordered around. They do not understand what freedom is. But in these two countries, we have it. And yet, instead of going out and saying, I'm here, this is what I stand for, answering a question, if I don't like what you're going to do, yes, we'll do this, instead of ducking it.
But also,
there's just no integrity in that sort of debate.
But again, Nicholas, let's talk about the structural problem that Biden and Harris are desperately trying to avoid. If the logic is that Donald Trump only won by a little tinsy bit, in part that was because the far left and the Bernie bros went, you know what, bugger her, she screwed us out of the nomination, we're not turning up. So the calculation here is bring Bernie into the 10, put the platform together, then pretend we're not the platform, I'm the Democratic Party, and taking positions that either run the risk in these debates of alienating that tinsy-wincy little bit that might lead to Trump wins again.
Look, that's a complex theory, Paul. I think Joe Biden's actually put forward a terrific agenda for America that doesn't play to any wild left tendencies that you're trying to suggest. I think it's a lot of really good common sense sort of rebuild America stuff. And
so why can't he answer the question on court packing then? I tried to give you the political science question, so let's get back to the dogfight question.
Well, sure.
Why can't they answer a question about court packing?
Why won't Mike Pence answer a straightforward question about whether he'll support a peaceful handover of power if Donald Trump loses? He couldn't give a straight answer on that question. I put it to you, that's a far more fundamental issue at stake.
Okay. So do you believe, Jim Molan, that there was a peaceful transfer of power in 2016 where Trump was allowed to be president in name only, because essentially they were always going to try to bounce him out of the office, never call him legitimate, he's not my president, never call him Mr. President, all of that business. I do not believe there's going to be revolution in the streets if Trump loses. There'll be some pissed off people, sure, no doubt about it. But I don't believe that he's going to be dragged kicking and screaming from the office, because I think he'll win. But again, to what Nicholas is just saying here, that, you know, the answer to not answering the question is to change to a different topic.
Yes, it was.
And everything.
But what we saw last time in the last election was an absolute astonishment that the Democrats lost, then a plotting and planning which one day we will see the full story, which was not just to abuse and to challenge and to make a lot of noise. The FBI sat down with a lot of people and they ran a campaign which pulled the Russians into it, which never ever allowed the situation following the last election to settle down. Now, that's the question that should be asked. There are so many allegations in that area, it's not funny. And for now to say, to try and set up a whole range of postal vote situations, which Trump has time and again said are dangerous, and if they're being set up fast, maybe they are dangerous. No, they would not accept it last time, Paul. And it's all part of the play, though, but they wouldn't accept it last time, so I think it's very, very wise of Pence to stay away from that question. Never force him to do it.
Yeah.
Just remember, Hillary Clinton said to Biden, never, ever concede.
Correct.
Don't concede. Who's saying there's going to be an orderly transition? Who's talking about it?
Yeah, correct.